friends. I'm gonna play with a stencil today. I thought it would be kind of fun. We'll see if what is in my head actually translates, because that's often the hardest part. And I'm not entirely ready for this live, but that's all right. Y'all know me. You know how this works. So I'm just cutting this to 5.5 by 4.25. And I mean, I guess since we're doing it, we can go ahead and do both of these. All right. And I'm going to, let's pull my camera up just a little bit so you can see. My desk is absolutely covered with little pans of watercolor everywhere. This is what I mean, little pans of watercolor, because I was swatching all of my watercolors earlier. So, yeah. Let me also find the stencil that I want to play with and my stencil tape. So this is the new Wilderness Mandala stencil. And so this is the one we're going to play with today. This is from the June release. So we're going to pull that out. And I'm actually going to use my Tim Holtz Media Mat. So I like to use my Media Mat when I'm playing with oxides. And that's what I'm going to do today is oxides. So we're going to put this bad boy in here. And this is the big one. And I got the left-handed one. I'm not left-handed. But I got it simply because it was like $25 cheaper. And I don't care what side that is on. Does not bug me in the slightest. So all right. So there we go. This is what we got going on here. So I'm going to start by choosing some oxide colors. And what I have in my brain is different. So we're going to choose some oxide colors and we're going to, we're going to watch this develop as we go. Okay. So hopefully y'all are with me. Hopefully you guys are good watching this develop as we go. Okay. So this is frog tape. I don't know if you can see the little label in there, frog tape. Frog tape yellow is like the best. I know we all used to love purple tape and purple tape was the best. But purple tape has reformulated and I just can't stand it now. It doesn't stick how it's supposed to anymore. So I'm just totally over the purple tape scenario. But the frog tape, I absolutely love. So there's that. I'm going to grab a couple of crazy colors that you might not think of. And I'll tell you why. We'll show you why. This one. And black soot. And this one. Okay. So this is Salvage Patina. Love this color. Black soot is a must. I'm also going to use scattered straw, twisted citron, seedless preserves, wilted violet, and mustard seed. I don't know if I'm going to use all these, but you know, mustard seed, and what else was the other one? Scattered straw. Where's my scattered straw brush? And these are my rabbit hole blending brushes, and they are discontinued, so you can't get them anymore. Sorry about that, but I love them, so I have them and I use them. Oh, there it is. Here's my wilted violet, my seedless preserves. I need twisted citron, which should be easy to find, salvage patina, I don't even know if I've made a brush for salvage patina yet. I think I have. Maybe I haven't. Rudeness. And then, of course, my black soot. Okay, so we have all of our brushes. We have our stencil, we have our paper, we have our tape. The other thing you're gonna need is a water bottle. So here's my Tim Holtz sprayer. And then I like to use my Pixie spray, but if you have tape, you can just use your tape, that's fine. And then the other thing I have, or had, where'd it go? I could have swore I just literally just had it sitting right, it's right here. Is I have just a little plastic bowl for some paint, and I'll show you how to use that later, okay? So, if you guys are here watching, can you say hello, please, so that I can see who's hanging out, because it doesn't show me who's here with me. So I'm going to start. I have these 2 pieces of paper. I'm just going to make 2 of these like literally identically the same. So I'm going to start with some salvage patina, and well, they won't be exactly the same, but okay. I'm going to go to some twisted citron. And notice I don't need like a whole bunch of ink per se. I'm just kind of dipping it in there and then using what I got on my brush. And I never wash my brushes. Like, my ink builds up on my brushes and it still blends just absolutely fine. Hey, Tyler. Thanks for saying hello. And there's no real rhyme or reason to this. I'm just kind of going for it. This one's a wilted violet. Be a little bit careful with this one because it is so much darker than the others. And don't worry so much about smoothness right now. A lot of this is going to be covered, so it's not really going to matter that much. Hi, Carla. How are you today? Thanks for tuning in. It's so weird to me to say tuning. Thanks for tuning in. Like, do we even have tuners anymore? Is that even a thing? It's not, but whatever. Thanks for tuning in nonetheless. Okay, and then this one's seedless preserves. And like I said, you don't have to worry about it being like super smooth or anything like that. A lot of this is going to be covered. So don't get all serial killer on me. Lydia always says that perfection is for serial killers. And then I always tease her that I'm one of those super perfectionists with a lot of things, like almost OCD style. How Tyler knows. Tyler knows my level of perfectionism. I think because he suffers from the same thing. Okay, so we've made these. I didn't use the mustard seed, I don't think. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of that in here over the top of this. Because I do like some of that bright yellow in there. There we go. That brightened it up some. Okay. So there we go with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my stencil. Excuse me. So this is the Wilderness Mandala stencil. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of tape and I'm just going to tape the corners of my paper down just so it doesn't move. Okay. Then I'm going to take my pixie spray and spray my stencil. I only really need to spray half of it because that's all I'm going to stick down is half of it. And I'm going to put it just above. So like this is center and here's the bottom of my paper. So I'm going to put this just above the bottom of my paper. Okay. Now I'm going to take my black soot. And I think I'm already at a place where I need to replace my black soot because I use it so much. And just for caution's sake, I'm going to tape down the side of this because I'm kind of working at a weird angle for me. I usually never work like straight on. I always have things angled, but since I'm on camera, I kind of have it like straight on. So now, as I work the ink into this stencil, I'm going to use these nice round brush strokes here, first of all. But secondly, I don't want this to be super, super black down here because I'm going to mask it off and I'm going to make it really, really black at the bottom. So just FYI. Okay. So now that I have this, what I'm going to do is, right, so true, is I'm going to take a little bit more black ink and I'm going to go up into these. And I'm not totally covering them, but I'm definitely like modeling that so that it's not super bright and everything. And then I'm going to go ahead and take these off because I'm not too worried about my paper slipping now because I'm pretty much done with the stencil part. And I am going to hold on to the stencil, and this is where I like to use like a tissue or something so that I don't leave fingerprints on my paper. And I'm going to make this dark around the edges. And you can probably see why I need a new black soot now, because I do use a ton of it. Okay, so there's that. I want to make it a little bit darker around these. Okay. Oops, I still need that. So now what I'm going to do is peel my stencil up. Actually, no, that's a lie. I almost did something really bad. Okay, now what I'm going to do is grab my paint. So this one I'm going to do a little bit of silver. So I just have these, you know, little funky paints that everybody has that you can get at Hobby Lobby, I think is where I got these ones. And I have my little paint bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little spot of the silver. And honestly, you don't need much more than a drip. I'm all trying to be careful. Okay, there's the white. Now acrylic paints are water soluble. So I'm going to take my water and I'm going to spray them. Not too much, but some. Of course, my dog's going to bark, so please don't mind him. And then I have a fairly loose paintbrush. And so I'm going to mix these. And I can already tell that they're still too thick, so I need a little bit more water. You're super confused. Super confused. I aim to confuse you, Tyler. That's like my joy in life. So I'm being successful. Okay, so it makes this like light gray color. It's got a little bit of a metallic hue to it. Please don't mind my dog. I think you guys would all wonder if he was okay if he wasn't like barking throughout our whole live every time. And this is kind of like my hillbilly splatter cage here so that I don't splatter all over my keyboard. But I am going to splatter all over myself. Does that count? And then some of these I'll just dip the paintbrush in and I'll put a little vapor trail. Archie, honey, please stop. All right, now that I'm covered in splatter and everybody else is too, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna peel my stencil off. Okay. And we're not quite finished here, although this is super cool just the way it is. We're going to do a little bit more masking here. So I'm going to move over to this one while this one dries for a second. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to start by taping down the corners. This is a cool way to make like 2 or 3 cards at once kind of thing. Because you're already doing all of the steps anyways, and it doesn't take very much more time to do it a second time. So, again, kind of lighter down at the bottom. Are you still so confused, Tyler? You know, it does my heart joy to know that I'm confusing the heck out of you. You're starting to see it? I need my tissue back. This also shows you how much abuse the Sweet Sentiment paper takes. Okay. Because it's taking a lot of abuse right now. And just FYI, I like using this method of splattering because it's a little bit more controlled. It doesn't quite go everywhere like splattering with a fan brush and using your fingers to like hit it and everything. This is just a bit more controlled, and yeah, those of you who know me well. Sorry about that. Husband calling. Those of you who know me really well know that controlling the mess is important to me. Those all of a sudden became like super regular and not like random at all like I wanted them to be. Oh well, you get the point. All right. So now again, we're gonna peel the stencil. You guys, peeling stencils is like my absolute favorite thing in the whole wide world. I love peeling stencils. Just to see how that comes out is just so satisfying to me. I don't know why. Or like peeling the plastic off of a brand new electronic device. Yeah. It's like such a nerdy thing, but I just love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to my other one. This one's dry now. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab a piece of random cardstock and I'm going to tear it. Very irregular style. And again, I'm going to use some little pieces of tape to tape this down so it doesn't move. This tape is really inexpensive, so don't worry about using a cubic ton of it. It's fine. And I'm going to set this, so trying to figure out how to explain it to you. So see where the coloring of this ends? I want to set that right about that same level where that coloring ends. So I can see some of the color peeking through, but I'm gonna totally tape it in the wrong place. It's all good. Okay. And you don't have to get super froggy with taping your mask here. It's not too big of a deal. I'm gonna load up my brush with a lot of ink. Oh, see, and I did it already. I knew that was gonna happen. The one thing I didn't tell you was you have to tape your mask to your card. Otherwise, it's gonna slide around like it just did. And a lot of times I will hold on to it too. Okay. Load up your brush with lots of ink. You can do this with like torn paper or die cuts too, but I was just wanting this to be like a single layer card. So I like that I'm still gonna be able to see a little bit of the stencil through the ink. I mean, you can sit here and ink this until you're blue in the face and you really can't see that stencil through there, and that's fine. But I'm of the school of thought, I think it adds more interest and dimension to the card if you can just see a little shadow of that. So it's not super prevalent, it's not super bright, but it's just a little hint of that stencil. And I actually like that. So just FYI, that's why I'm not gonna sit here and totally stencil that or cover that. Check that out. Now, all you have to do is add a sentiment. And it looks like mountains and the forest or the sun or whatever you want to interpret that as over the night sky. So let's do this other one since we're here. Ooh, hi, Holly. Now you can do varying levels of this, so let me do this one a little bit different and show you. So this one, this level, I'm gonna make super dark. And then look at how cool that is. So cool. And then I'm gonna tear this. I'm gonna make another set of mountains, maybe. Right there. And yes, I totally reused my tape. I shake everything when I stencil. I like really get with it and stencil. Okay. And usually things come in threes. So I'm going to stencil this in threes too. The key is just to remember as you go up, you get lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay. So there we go. And then I just throw that mask away. It was just a scrap piece of paper anyways, but. So there's 2 backgrounds that you can make really super fast. If you want to really add to it, I have a silver jelly roll pin, and you can always add, you know, like a North Star. Or if you're really into it, you could add like a constellation. You know, just some little things to add some interest. These ones are really big, so they're like comets. Okay. So there's that. And then you can just stamp a sentiment. So a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll just grab another piece of this white paper and I'll find a sentiment that I like, and I'll just stamp the sentiment on here and then add it to the card. So there you go. There's our quick little live today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's everything. I will see you guys again really soon. Thanks for joining me. Toodles!